So we're having our pre-New session analysis. I just started the recording. So we're looking at the dollar. We have the core PPI monthly, the PPI monthly, and unemployment claims. The three of them will be released simultaneously by 2:30 p.m. So let's look briefly at what these events will all be about. So the source of this data for the core PPI monthly is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And this news measures the change in the price of finished products and services sold by producers, excluding food and energy. An actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. And for the PPI, it measures change in the price of finished goods and services sold by producers. Again, actual greater than forecast is good for currency. And the third one is unemployment claims, which is released from the Department of Labor. And it measures the number of individuals who filed for unemployment insurance for the first time during the past week. On this, actual less than forecast is good for the currency. So by 2:30 p.m., this is what we'll likely be looking at. If the data all comes out good for the dollar, either as actual greater than forecast or less than forecast, we'll be looking at the dollar going bullish, if that is what happens. And on the other side, if the data comes out all bad for the dollar, then we'll be looking at a massive bearish movement on the dollar. Now, there's also a possibility that the data may conflict because the two events are not related. While the PPI and the core PPI look similar, unemployment claims is a completely different data. So it's possible to have maybe the PPI or core PPI may be good for the dollar, while the unemployment claims is bad for the dollar. If that happens, vice versa, it could lead to what we call a spike. Buying and selling simultaneously will occur upon the dollar. So I'll take us now to the trading platform, to MetaTrader, and we'll look at what is happening technically, and we can use that to project our expectations for the dollar this afternoon session. All right, so this is the USD CHF. I think I should start from the dollar index. All right, dollar index is actually bearish, approaching, good afternoon, Madam Naji, approaching a support zone. So then we have a clear picture on the USD CHF. The USD CHF, you know, we've been on this instrument for quite a while, and I remember telling us on Monday when I had a weekly outlook that what I'm perceiving will happen on this instrument is, my forecast or prediction is, a head and shoulder pattern which will break out into a massive bearish direction. If you remember, since January, I've been saying that we have a long-term bearish movement on the dollar if dollar will break out of this rising wedge pattern that we're seeing, and we're getting closer to that by the day. So yesterday we had the CPI, the data came out very, very good for the dollar, and that pushed the dollar to this resistance level right here on the daily time frame. So price closed on the resistance, signifying the possibility of a bearish movement. And today we've seen that so far the dollar has been selling. You can see today's candle is a red candle, which indicates that it's a strong, as in there's a bearish pressure, on the dollar. So if the data comes out bad for the dollar, that is going to force price to go down further. And with the potential pattern we're seeing there, which is a head and shoulder pattern, which is a bearish pattern at a resistance level, we will say that we have a probability that the data may come out actually bad for the dollar. So if the news comes out bad for the dollar, you're free to take a sell on the USD CHF. And if price breaks this trend line today, that means the market is really getting set for a long-term, bearish movement on the dollar. Though we also need to still be sensitive because there's still the neckline zone of the head and shoulder pattern, which is like a minor support that price needs to break for a further bearish breakout. So technically, I'll say that I'm bearish on the dollar ahead of the news we are expecting today by 2:30 p.m. So you can also look at that while we plan ahead to trade. That is, if you want to trade the news, I favor more of a sell on the USD CHF. All right, that's my analysis for this afternoon. If you have any instrument you want to analyze, you're free to put it up on the screen and I think to type it rather in the comment section, and I'll be looking at analyzing it for you. And if you look at the USD card also, it's still on a bearish trend also. We have this forming a head and shoulder, though I can't say authoritatively if it will still form that, but if price breaks out below this current zone, we'll also see a massive bearish movement on the USD card. So the dollar is actually very, very weak at the moment, waiting for a bearish breakout. So a bearish on the USD CHF for the news this afternoon. All right, that'll be my analysis. So again, if you have a question or any specific instruments you want me to analyze, please feel free to post it in the comment section. USD, JPY, and gold. All right, so let's look at the two. If you missed our live trading session yesterday, well, there'll be another one very soon. We have next NFP. We'll trade two live events, NFP, that's non-farm payroll, and CPI. So make sure you don't miss the March edition of NFP, which will come up on the first Friday in the month of March. So we're looking at the USD, JPY, and gold. So let's look. I'm trying to get the USD, JPY. That's not around here. Okay. All right, so this is USD, JPY. Let's do our top-down analysis. All right, so price hit a resistance, broke it, returned, and price is retesting the previous resistance at this point. So technically, when we're looking for a bearish movement, that's what I'm seeing on the weekly time frame. Let's go down to the daily. On the daily, you can see that price hit that resistance again yesterday, and we have a slight bearish movement already today. And on 4 hour, we can see the rejection candle that is leading to the bearish movement. So here's the JPY. Since the dollar is weak, I still maintain a weak outlook also on the USD JPY. There's a potential for it to drop further, especially if the data released today comes out bad for the dollar. Now, for the USD CHF and even for the USD JPY, peradventure, now we don't know the data actually, we're just projecting based on technicals. Peradventure, the data comes out good for the dollar, price will just hit this resistance, and depending on the volatility, there's a high tendency it may still reverse eventually into itself. So that's why I just maintain one direction. Even if price goes against it, just relax. It may still reverse back to that, long-term direction. And similar is possible for the USD CHF. Will be if the news comes out good for the dollar, it may buy a little, but later on reverse still into itself. So I'm still bearish on USD JPY and looking now for gold. Now, gold is at a critical point in the real sense of it. Gold is trading at 2,917.30. Now, whatever is going to happen to gold will be determined by the dollar. If the data comes out good for the dollar, if it comes out bad for the dollar, gold will break this trend line and resistance and go higher. That's if the data comes out bad for the dollar. However, if the data comes out good for the dollar, gold will utilize this resistance here and sell. And can see what is looking like a head and shoulder pattern forming here. So gold just follows the dollar. That's the truth. It follows the dollar. So whatever happens to the dollar, the opposite is what's going to happen to gold. So if the data comes out good for the dollar, we'll expect a sell on gold. Good for the dollar means dollar is going to buy, then gold will sell because gold is negatively correlated to the dollar. If the dollar is buying, gold will sell. So if it comes out good for the dollar, gold will sell. If it comes out bad for the dollar, gold will buy. So that's my outlook on both USD JPY and gold. All right, all these asking me to check BTC. Now, BTC seems to not be having the serious direction at the moment. Though, like I said earlier on in the week, it's actually trading within a range. A range, you can see we have a range. Price has been ranging between these two zones on the daily time frame. Let's go to the lower time frame. We check the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame to see what is happening. But on the daily time frame, nothing, absolutely nothing is happening for now on the daily, except we go to the lower time frames. All right, so this is the 4-hour. I can't really say anything on 4-hour. 1 hour. Well, all I can say on 1 hour now is the formation of a falling wedge. And all I can say is if price falls to this support, yeah, these are actually support levels. If it falls to that level, then you can look at an opportunity to buy as it's going up. But at this current price level, I can't tell you whether to buy or sell, except price falls to this lower trend line first. Then you can look at an opportunity to buy. That's the only thing I can see on BTC. Piskende, when is the news coming out? The news is coming out by 2:30 p.m. So you can plan ahead. It's just roughly an hour and about 40 minutes from now. All right, so I've attended to all the questions. That will be all from this analysis session. If you don't have a funded account with PU Prime, please go ahead, fund your account and start trading and make money with us. And if all this still looks a bit complex to you, like I always say, you have a solution in copy trading. If you want to get started with copy trading, you can reach out to me. I can guide you and recommend a signal provider you can copy with very good and steady results. All right, that'll be all for now. Take care and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.